we're being joined by our special correspondent to the African Nations Championship, Christopher Emenyonu, who is live from the Benjamin Kappa Stadium in Dar es Salaam. Chris, thank you so much for coming through tonight on Game On. Thankfully, the Super Eagles managed to salvage some pride, a better performance than the previous two performances. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. It's great to see the Super Eagles perform like we all wanted them to perform in this tournament. I think the question of mentality was answered today, and the players really came out with all their arsenal to get this win and get this point. Like Charles said in the pre-match conference, they wanted to come back home with something, and that's what they really got in this particular game. It was really nice to see them play the way they played. The intensity was high, the commitment was high, the discipline was high. And at the end of the day, they got the result we all wanted them to get in this particular game.
Well, Alex Oyor was named player of the game. That was also some good consolation for the Nigerian team, wasn't it?
Absolutely. The only Nigerian player to win a Man of the Match award in this tournament. And it was so pleasing to see him play, because I thought he was one of the midfielders that could have changed the first two games for us if he had been given the chance. But Eric Chan in the post-match conference did say that the player did not show consistency or commitment in the training until 2 days ago. So probably he also has some questions to answer on his part. But it was still to see him play well today. It was really the inspiring player for me in the first half. Maybe in the second half, maybe a little bit of tiredness. But in the first half, it was really putting balls through the channel for the strikers, and it was really pleasing to see a player that can do that in the NPFL.
From a journalistic point of view, I want to ask you, Chris, what are the positives you think that we can take away from Chan? I mean, not about Coach Eric Chell here. I'm talking about this bunch of players who are based in the NPFL. What are the positives that you think we can take from this competition?
Well, first of all, I think exposure will be one thing. Chell did mention that these players have not really played outside of the country before, or neither have they won the green and white green jersey before. So I think exposure is the biggest thing that these players can take out, even the league can take out of this tournament. The players now have this exposure. They now have this experience of playing in an international tournament, not just the CAF Champions League or CAF Competition Cup. Now they've played among nations that they have not played against before on the continent. And I think that's the biggest positive that we can take from this competition. Now they can go back to their respective clubs in Nigeria and tell other players the experience that they had in this competition, how it feels like to play in an international tournament, how different it is to play outside of the country, the facilities, the structure, and so many other things that they have seen in this tournament.
Well, let me ask what the feeling is like, after the first two losses, you are ending with a win. How has this affected the mood of the boys, particularly the coach, Eric Chell? Because I remember I did a write-up on what I feel should be done now that we're out of the CHAN and we have to focus on the World Cup qualifiers. And one of the first things I said is that this game against Congo is a must-win game because it must restore some pride and some confidence in the coach. So what's the feeling like? I mean, the body language of Eric Chell at the post-match conference, and I remember someone asked him to look forward into what will be happening next month. What can you say about that, drawing on the strength of this last game and projecting into what will be happening in another 3 weeks when the World Cup qualifiers will begin?
But I think he feels relaxed. His countenance after the game showed a little bit of calmness, composure, and relaxation. I think he really wanted that win, and he got the win. And I think that now he knows that the system that he wants to play is not so bad. It's just for the players to be able to understand and execute it on the pitch. And I think that he has really now understood that a lot of the things that went wrong in the first two games is not really about the system. It was more about the players' mentality and their readiness for this particular tournament. He did mention that he thought that the players were just scared in the first 2 games, and this third game they just had to come out to fight for themselves. And then I think he has realized that, and I think he is now going to take that as a takeaway from this tournament, going into the World Cup qualifiers in September when Nigeria will group again to face Rwanda and South Africa. But I do think that he has also taken a negative lesson from it, knowing that sometimes you just might need to just leave some jobs to some people to do. I think after the second game, he was really, the first zero loss to Sudan, he was really not himself. We did ask him a question if he regretted taking this job, and he did mention that he might have just left the job for Ogumodede and Lechuku to bring these boys here. But after this win, I think he's more relaxed about that particular comment.
Well, Chris, I'm sure you can see the final table now. It's Sudan and Senegal who go through, Nigeria finishing in 3rd place, and Congo ending bottom of that group. And I told you, it actually been an interesting observation that Sudan and Senegal could not beat Congo, if I recall. Nigeria was the only team that beat Congo.
I'm telling you,
that's another positive.
That's a positive.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
And we missed out on qualification with just 2 points. You say we only missed out on qualification.
If we were in that group that had 5 teams, we probably will have had 6 points if we win the 4th game.
Probably.
Yeah, because now the momentum is building up. But I think that there are a few, football is a game of very small margins. Poor defending, and that loss to Senegal. If that game against Senegal probably had ended in a draw, I've been talking about 4 points, which would probably have been, we will have qualified because Senegal will have ended with draw.
True.
True. Yeah, but that it is what it is. The boys will pick up the lessons and they will begin to strategize. But let me ask, as we wrap up this, what's the thinking among the boys? Are they ruining a missed opportunity of really establishing themselves as heroes of the domestic game, heroes for themselves? Because no matter what you say, putting on the white grain of Nigeria at whatever level, is huge. It's something that I still beat my chest today when I remember the chanting that we built for 2018. That was a remarkable journey. And for me, till today is my best outing as Super Eagles media officer, the 2018 chant. So are those boys, ruining that opportunity to have established themselves as heroes of the domestic game?
Chris, just to add to that, are they also ruining? Are they also, Chris, sorry, just before I said that, are they also ruining the fact that they lost out on the $100,000, a national honor, and a 3-bedroom flat in Abuja?
Their own will have probably been $70,000.
I don't know.
Well, to answer Toyin's question, I spoke to Junior Duka, Alex Oyowa, and Michael Tochukwu in the mix zone, and Junior Duka did mention that this was a missed opportunity for them, recalling the errors they made in the first 2 games that led to them conceding 5 goals. And Michael Tochukwu also said he doesn't know if they should celebrate this win or keep feeling disappointed about the first 2 losses. So they understand that this is a missed opportunity for them to show their real qualities to the world at large, not just in Africa. And working out of the match today, a few of them felt happy after getting that win, but the majority of the players really felt sad about this missed opportunity.
Oh, wow. We seem to have lost Chris, which is unfortunate, but we're still talking about the African Nations Championship.